Hello and welcome to Season 26 of the TGP2 series. Tonight we shall be racing at the Sochi Autodrome as well as the Suzuka circuit in Japan. I am Roy, aka Jovial Manatee, and I'm joined by 4-time TGP1 champion and 63-time race winner in TGP1, Daniel Fawcett, aka Dan the Man F1. Good evening, Daniel.
Good evening, Roy. Yes, I'm really looking forward to the action tonight. You've got Russia, as you say, which is, well, we've seen a decent race in F1 this year, but also, of course, Japan a bit later, which should be a blockbuster.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice venue,
Jordan getting pole.
Oh, yeah, take provisional pole with a 131.0. We've got Alistair rounding the final corner on an outlap. And you know what? We've got 4 minutes to go. Let's go through the lap. We ride on board with Alistair. Actually, no, maybe not, because the volume will be out of balance. But Alistair is heading now down to turn 2. You need to pick your braking spot. Don't run too wide, otherwise you will invalidate your lap. Does he hit the apex? Yes, he does, very nicely. Uses the exit curb, but not too much. Now around turn 3, completely flat out. It's effectively a straight because it's full throttle the whole way around up until you get to turn 4. Be neat and tidy through here. 90 right into another 90 right at the start of the second sector in turn 5. Be quite neat through here. It's not as quick as turn 4. Uses a nice amount of exit curb, not too much, not too little. And here we go through turn 6 and 7. Make sure you carry the speed. It tightens up on the exit, whereas the next two corners do the opposite. It opens up. Be sure to carry speed, and he does that very nicely into a 90 right now onto the back straight, which isn't really straight. It's got two corners on it. DRS will be open now for the Renault driver as he needs to pick his braking point as he heads into the final sector. Turn 13, one of the most frustrating braking zones on the calendar, at least in my opinion anyway. Hit the apex nicely, sacrifice a bit of speed so you can open up the next corner and now into this rather clumsy turn 15, which is very off camber. Don't want to step out too much. Does it nicely, navigates his way through into the penultimate corner, slightly quicker corner than the final corner, which is quite tight. Use a bit of exit curb, go as wide as you possibly can without invalidating, and he doesn't improve.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Jordan stays ahead, and I don't think Alistair's going to be able to get another lap in with 2.5 minutes to go. Jordan just pit. It might be a bit tight for Jordan, but he should just probably get back out in time. So is Alistair then? Not well, has he missed out on pole already here? You'd think he has. He is the championship leader. A 37-point gap from Jordan, and if he can take pole, Jordan, here, that would be a great way to start his night.
Yeah, Jordan looking to get the momentum back into his championship as we see Chris Thurgood, a multiple race winner in TGP1 who was racing in the second tier tonight. He has left the session once again as Jordan also retires from the session.
Jordan's retired, so
top
yeah, it must have been too late then for him to get back out once he came to the pit lane. Camo Babo is about to start his lap in 3rd place, and he is the highest driver up there now who can improve. We've got Dom Smith as well in 4th, Jack in 5th. Jack was quite quick early on in the session. He's, let's say, dropped to 5th now. But, let's see what he can do. Owen in 6th as well on an out lap. He invalidated his previous lap time, so he's also surely got time to find. Well, could we have Alistair maybe on the second row for this race?
Quite possibly, although it's not the worst thing because, you know, you've got that very long run into turn 2, so you can get a bit of slipstream. So, you know, if
that's
you're
very
going to
true,
lose pole, it's, you know, here and Belgium, they're probably the two tracks you'd pick, maybe Mexico as well. But it's Camo Babo comes through the second sector now, through turns 8 and 9. And, well, he'll be looking to improve on his 3rd place start.
Just wonder if the Mercedes drivers might be... I thought the Mercedes drivers might have been thinking about doing some kind of tow game down the straight at the start of this lap. I don't think they are, because Jack's starting his lap time gone way back. And Owen also coming around to start his lap in a few moments. This is Camo Babo though, as he gets through that horrible end to the final second sector even. We've got Zach joining us, who raced in Hungary, you'll remember, and he done very well. See, well, hopefully he'll just about be able to make the race, but let's see what Camo Babo can do on these final 2 corners then. Can he get himself onto the front row? He had a terrible week last week. He needs a really good one. Across the line. No, he did improve, but only just to a 131.355. That is not good enough for a front row.
Improvement in time, but not in position. Dom Smith in 4th, he's also in the pit lane. Jack Pearson, who has apparently done a purple Sector 1. He's a 10th and a half up on his previous best, which would take him ahead of his Mercedes teammate, but no further than that, so he needs to find more time in the rest of the lap. The Mercedes driver has had an inconsistent season, and he'll be hoping to get some momentum in his championship going.
Mike Newton jumps up to 3rd place. Owen was 2 tenths, and Owen's invalidated his lap. In fact, he was 2 tenths slower than Jack in the first sector, and now he's invalidated again, so he'll start still higher than 7. What can Jack do then? We've got Mike Newton jumping up into 3rd place, which is, it's always great to see him get up there, and he has fantastic starts as well, usually. So that could be promising for him. Here's Jack at the end of this lap then. He's promised so much this season, but still, somehow, has not won a race. He's already out of energy here through the final corner, on the power, and he's on pole! He's on pole at 130.9.
Wow.
Alistair into 3rd place. Jack Pearson takes the pole position, and clearly he does have pace around Russia.
I have to say, I can't remember the last time Alistair wasn't on the front row.
Yeah, well, Alistair's won 7 of the last 10 races since he won his first race of the season in Monaco, and he's really been on a roll ever since. Well, what a pole for Jack. He crossed the line first, didn't he, in Bahrain and in Spain, but of course didn't get the win because of corner cutting penalties. What a great chance he has now, though, here at Russia, although admittedly it is quite easy to pick up penalties during this race, but anyway, it's a good way to start. Cannot wait to see what he can do off the line.
And I have to
Although,
say,
of course, he could just easily get slipstream, couldn't he, at the start?
I've heard this is the part of the season that Alistair isn't particularly fond of. He loves the middle part of the season, but the start and the end, not as much. But thankfully, he does have a 37-point cushion over his rivals. But and don't get me wrong, 3rd place is still a very solid effort. It's not like he's miles away. But yeah, you'd be raise the level of nerves, let's say.
Yeah, I suspect it will. As you mentioned, yeah, we are now starting these flyaway races, although Singapore, I suppose, was also a flyaway last week. But there is the order then for this qualifying session, Roy.
Here we go. Jack Pearson on pole, 10th and a half ahead of Jordan, with Alistair in P3, the championship leader. Mike Noon takes an excellent 4th for Ferrari. Camo Babo in P5. Dom with a solid 6th place finish. Mer Quenby P7. Sayer Sports, aka Joe, in P8. Blair Grills in 9th, with M Shep rounding out the top 10. Angel vs Death for Williams in P11, followed by Mr. John in the AlphaTauri. Nell Jack in P13. Indecisive Mackie in P14, followed by Sir Tom Penguin, Breezer, Red Bull Kim, and without time on the board, it is Chris who rounds out the field, and he'll be looking for improvements in the race.
I think Zach will hopefully be in the field as well at the back.
I believe so. He will have to resort to a default setup, but
yeah,
not the worst place. I mean, I suppose the balance around here is kind of in the middle anyway, so it shouldn't be too bad. If I can.
True. But I think with Camo Babo starting 5th and Owen starting 7th in this race, it is more and more beginning to look like a 2-horse fight now between 2-horse race now between Alistair and Jordan.
Oh,
Jordan's gone! Oh, wow. Well, just as it looks as though Alistair had some serious competition here, he has left Jordan. He will be able to get back in. He's going to miss the start of the race, though.
That was quick.
Yeah, that was very quick, but he will miss the start of this race. I'm pretty sure. We had this situation yesterday in Monza when John left, who I believe was watching. But anyway, the rest of the cars are on the grid and they're ready to go.
Here we go. Here is the grid. Jack Pearson will lead us away from pole position. And we're underway at the Sochi Autodrome. Jordan's car is still an AI. And Jack Pearson gets a very good start, and Mike Noon is already up into 2nd place, and he gets a nice slipstream behind Jack Pearson. Can he keep the lead? It doesn't look like a great start for Alistair, who can be the victor in the braking zone as Mike Noon takes the inside line, and Dom Smith is up into 2nd place after starting 6th. So it's a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment in Sochi. Not the first time we've seen that. And it's a Ferrari 3-4 as Alistair drops to P5, does he?
I'd say it's going around trying to get past them as well. He ends their foot, but well, once again, the Mercedes are so good at the start line. There's Breeze has done a Lance Stroll. I don't know if he got tagged, but he has gone round at that corner. He's got away with it though. Jordan, of course, left again, which is just terrible for Jordan now. He's down in 12. And what happened?
Alistair and M-Chef making contact. I have to say the angle wasn't too great from what I saw. I don't think Alistair turned in. I think M-Chef may have been a bit too optimistic on the brakes, but I don't want to pin the blame too much because the angle, as I said, wasn't exactly the best. So it's still Jack Pearson who leads us away from Dom Smith, making an excellent start. Mike Noon in P3, Camababo in the top 5 still, as Alistair makes a terrible start from P3 down to P6, although it could be significantly worse as Jordan is down in P12.
So Dom just got a great launch and got some lovely slipstream down the start. I don't know, maybe if obviously Jack might have been helping him with the tow, I suppose, as well. But it's incredible. It is a Mercedes 1-2, as you say, which we are so used to seeing, although not so much in TGP2 this season until right now. And Jack's got a 1.5 second lead, 1.8 seconds in fact, at the end of this first lap. Dom then in second place and is actually already, you have to say, a bit of a train forming behind Dom. Is Mike New going to go for a move here? Dom immediately going very defensive look into turn 2. In fact, we'll say a sports fancy to go on his teammate here. No, he will not. We'll stay as it is for the time being. And say a sports picks up a penalty.
Penalties at this race will be crucial, as Jordan is, well, at the moment, he's the only person who's fighting is his internet provider. So it's still Mercedes 1-2, Ferrari 3-4, with Camababo and Alistair in P6 is a slightly mixed up grid. I mean, it's not too surprising. These guys have finished up at the front before, but the main championship contenders not at the very front of this field, which is, I suppose it's interesting to see.
Oh, it's such a shame if Jordan can't rejoin. It really will be. Alistair in 6th place, and still, if it stays like this, he will extend his lead in the championship. Got a yellow flag out at the back. I think there was a bit of contact with a Williams driver there, but anyway, and say Tom Penguin's gone round as well, and he made a great start to this race. That's a huge shame for him. Here's Cameron Babber going for 4th place on Say Sports. Is he going to get it into turn 13? It's a very difficult corner, and Cameron Babber is through, is he? The side by side, and he's trying to go round the outside now, Cameron Babber, and he should have the move done from there. Alistair also thinking about having a go as well.
Yeah, and it's still as you were with the top 3. Things are starting to move a bit now from 4th downwards. There's a lot of battles shaping up. We're seeing some gaps form.
Oh,
well.
McNewn's gone for a move on Dom at the final corner, and it has not worked. I think McNewn just got a penalty as well. But look at these 3 now; they're all in a line here. And well, let's see if Mike New can get past. Here we go into turn 2 for 2nd place in this race, at least on the track. Is he going to go wide? Oh, Dom made slight contact, and it's Marco to sneak through the pair of them into 2nd place.
Almost contact between the Mercedes and the Ferrari through turn 3. We saw a nasty incident in the Formula 2 race last weekend at that corner, but thankfully no such incident today, as Camababo makes his way up to P2 after being 5th in lap 1, and Mike Noon almost making contact with Dom Smith yet again at turn 5.
Incredible stuff then between Mike Noon and Dom Smith. They're still going at it. Mike Noon does indeed have a penalty, but it's certainly not putting him off from fighting Dom here. Meanwhile, this is just allowing Jack Pearson to pull away. We don't have intervals on the screen at the minute, so I can't actually tell you exactly what the gap is, but it's pretty big at this time being.
Jordan rejoins the session. I mean, he's P16 at the moment. He could still salvage some minor points, but it's a disaster for him in a race where he could have salvaged so much points in the championship. With Alistair still down in 6th place. He hasn't actually made up any positions since lap 1, and he'll be looking to change his fortunes then. He's got Mir Quenby all over the back of his car, so not ideal as Alistair comes into the pits.
So an early stop then for Alistair. He will almost certainly go to mediums for the rest of the race then. I suppose if he's not a big fan of this track, it can essentially just be a damage limitation race now, because ultimately Jordan probably is not going to be able to fight his way back.
You see him move. Mer Quenby up the inside of Sayer Sports for P5.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, not the Force India. The Racing Point driver is now up into the top 5 places.
You have problems with your intervals as well, Roy, very quickly?
I am, yes. The top 7 do not have intervals, but everyone from 8 onwards does.
Don't know what's going on there, but well, problems here at Russia. It's a far way away. But anyway, we are watching the top 3 here then. Well, say we're watching the top 3. Jack Pearson is still way ahead. Is Alistair stuck in traffic after his pit stop? No, he's not. So if he can get a clean lap in here, he might be able to jump a few at when these guys make their stops. Probably in a couple of laps' time. It does seem like quite an early stop for Alistair.
I'm thinking maybe for Alistair he's prioritising some clean air because he might feel that he's quicker than the guys ahead in the race trim, so I think he's just hoping to get some clean air and to move his way ahead. He can undercut the guys ahead of him, or at least, hopefully he doesn't encounter traffic too soon, because he is closing in rapidly on the cars ahead. I think it's actually Jordan's AI. Actually, he might be back in the race. Let's have a look as he makes a move on Sir Tom Penguin. Yes, that is Jordan himself back in the car. He's moved up to 14th, which at the moment is worth a solitary point, but of course Alistair has yet to, Jordan has yet to pit, so it's a net P15 at the moment as Chris picks up another time penalty.
Yeah, he's picked up, I don't know how many penalties he's got at this so far, but it's quite a lot as Dom in the pits now.
I believe it's 3, but I mean that is something that is excusable. He is very new to the game at the moment, not a lot of experience whatsoever, and it's not the easiest track to be accustomed to when it comes to strict corner cutting rules. But
this is gonna be really close here between Alistair and Dom. There's Dom. There's Alistair coming down here, and he's the Alfa Romeo right there as well. Is he going to come in between the both of them? Oh, it's going to be very tight. Dom's forced to cut the corner slightly. Alistair does go through. Sits on Penguin's defending, and is Alistair going to make contact with him? No, I don't think he is, but it's going to allow Dom to stay with Alistair here. And will he fancy going to Alistair hits the back of Sits on Penguin and goes off. And Alistair will have damage for the rest of this race now.
Oh no, disaster for the championship leader as Sir Tom Penguin locks up into turn 5. Nightmare scenario for Alistair. This is, I think Jordan would be even, cursing his internet even more at this rate, because this is a disaster for Alistair. And he might even have to pit again.
Well, do you think it's heavy enough for him to pit again? I think it is, isn't it? If it's fully red on the screen, you will have to pit again. We could be in a situation here, really, where the top 2 in the championship failed to score a significant amount of points in this race. As Neljak's gone off there, he's just rejoining though. He's in 8th place, and Mike Noon now pits.
Yeah, right now, I mean, this race is unfolding, and it's hard to tell how it's going to go. I mean, Alistair is going to have to make a recovery drive. He's going to be hoping for a safety car. We did see a car crash out in qualifying, so he'll be hoping for something similar in the race in order to actually get his championship back. Well, not his championship, but his race back in order.
And all this has allowed, I know obviously drivers have been pitting, but all this has allowed Chris and Zach, the 2 Red Bull stand-ins for tonight, to jump into 4th and 5th for the time being, which is quite nice to see. As Mike Noon, he is going to come out the pits ahead of Alistair, and is Dom going to have a go on Alistair into turn 2? No, he is not. But Alistair clearly is very vulnerable at this stage with that damage, especially around this corner.
Yeah, wing damage to turn 3, not ideal. Cam did in the inside.
Mike Noon's gone for an inside Angel versus Death, and it hasn't worked. That's ruined his race, and Alistair gets a penalty, but Mike Noon will be fuming with that. He went for a move on Angel versus Death. I'm not really sure if it was on. He could have maybe held back, but still, it's caused contact, and now he's gone right to the back.
I think desperation is starting to creep in for some of the front runners. They're trying to clear this traffic. Meanwhile, Jack and Camo Babo have yet to pit. Same goes for Mayor Quenby, so I think pitting later might be the smarter decision in this race so far.
Definitely, yeah. You get the impression that it will benefit possibly Owen a lot here, who was down in 7th, I think, wasn't he, before the pit stops. Jordan's gone into 8th now. He's also still yet to stop. There's a long queue of cars here, all in the same frame. Oh, it's Dom almost hits Alistair, but gets away with it.
As we see Camo Babo enter the pits, where will he come out on the track? The McLaren crew ready for their driver, and he teleports to the other end of the pit lane. Where does he rejoin? I'd imagine he'll be a net P2 still. I don't think anyone's going to be jumping him, especially with all this traffic and or wing damage. As we see Mr. John move up into the top 5, of course yet to stop. Now Jack also moves ahead, or does he? Yes, he does.
So Cameron Babbo does get way ahead then of the likes of Alistair, Dom, Sayer Sports, etc. So Alistair gets into 9th place on Red Bull, Kim in 10th place. They do seem to be finding a lot of traffic drivers get to pit, don't they? As Jordan now pits, look, it looks like he's going to go to the hard tyres for the rest of the race, which... did he start on mediums? I don't think he did he?
I don't...
He was in 2nd place, wasn't he?
I don't believe so. As I said, it's not the first time that the AlphaTauri driver has made some curious decisions when it comes to strategy. Yeah, he's gone on to
he did start on soft. He did start on softs. They can sometimes be a bit confusing with the pit stops on this game. It does sometimes throw you onto hard tyres sometimes, and perhaps that's what's happened there. As Camo Babo gets past Mr. John for 5th place, as the race leader, Jack Pearson, finally comes into the pits. Does Owen pit? No, Owen carries on again on the soft tyres then. But I have to say, I don't think Jack's lead will be in too much threat, as Chris also pits. Jordan's got himself a penalty. Is Zach going to pit as well? Oh, Zach, they're going to have to queue, because we know how slow the pit crew are to react to pit double stacking on this game, and I think he might get away with it.
There is a 13-second interval.
So, yeah, that's a good point.
Will he be fine? Wow, no. He does have wing damage as well.
Sorry, Roy, we just had a Williams lose at the pound corner there, indecisive. I thought he was going to get in the way of one of the Ferraris, but did not in the end. But meanwhile, I look at Chris coming out the pit lane in between these guys here. And 2 Renaults are side by side. That's Breezer who's being laughed, of course, and is Dom going to finally go through on Alistair now.
Yeah, there he goes into P6 on the road. Alistair couldn't hold off any longer. Don't know how much longer he can hold on for. I mean, I think he'll still get points if he carries on, but yeah, it's an absolute nightmare for Alistair. Now under threat from Sayer Sports and Mike Noon behind. And
Jordan, meanwhile, is 13th, so Kama, Babbo and Owen then really can't benefit hugely, and might even be able to bring themselves back into some sort of championship contention here if they can both finish on this podium. This could shake things up a little bit as Mike Noon gets another penalty, and Owen finally pits, and well, is he going to come back out in 3rd place? Is he going to jump 4 drivers? They have
the 2 Ferraris side by side through turn 13, and Mike Noon makes up a place on Joe Sayer.
Well, I have to say, TGP2 is saving up a fantastic race here in Russia, isn't it?
Yeah,
here's Owen coming out the pit lane.
Great venue for racing, as we know.
Jack Pearson. Oh my god, Owen nearly lost it going out the pit lane there.
Yeah,
but he's got away with it.
Yeah, he must have been in the wrong gear when he hit the accelerator.
Yeah, almost the most controversial thing to happen in Sochi pit lane since the practice start. As there we go, Owen is out indeed in 3rd place, so he has jumped all of these guys, and he will be absolutely... Oh, I thought we had the Renault going straight to the back of Dom there, but it was a lap breezer, as I briefly thought we were going to have a huge accident there.
Mike Noon on the back of Alistair, who's, to be fair to him, keeping up with Dom, still running in the top 6 after everyone has pitted. Actually, yeah, Chris has pitted, so he is running 4th on the road. And how quickly can the Ferrari driver get past the Renault, who is obviously struggling with that wing damage?
Just having a look at the comments just very quickly. It's great to have the king of commentary, Jinder Andy, watching this race here tonight. I'm sure he is loving the battles that we're seeing around Russia right now, as is everybody who is watching, no doubt.
And supporting the Danish Viking, that is Red Bull Kim, currently having a fairly lonely race down in 15th, although Angel vs Death is now within the speaking of Angel vs Death, he has a 3-second time penalty, but he's within DRS range of Red Bull Kim. As we see Mike Noon get past Alistair for P6 on the road, so he's now got the other Ferrari all over the back of him, Sayer Sports, and well, Alistair, it's just gone from bad to worse. Still, you know, it could be worse. He's still in the race, still in the top 8, but bit of lag there for Alistair.
And here's Owen going for 2nd place on Kamababo in this race. The 2 with 3rd, 4th in the championship, and well, he's just got through there. Of course, if that was real life, Kamababo would probably have been forced to take the bollard route there, but not here. 2nd place for Owen then. third for Camababo. In the end, this has been quite a good race for Owen, and well, I wonder what where he could have been on the grid if he did not invalidate his last 2 runs.
Now, can he chase after Jack? There's just over 3 laps left, 3.7 seconds. I think it may require a penalty to intervene, and I don't want to put the commentator's curse on anyone. I believe both drivers are penalty free as things stand.
Yep, so, they both only had 1 warning, and Seiya Sports is going for 7th now on Alistair as well. And there's another position, there's another Ferrari past Alistair. Is Alistair going to come back? No, I don't think he can. He might be able to once DRS deployed, although he really seems to be struggling now, Alistair, I have to say, through the corners there.
But thankfully for him, he's got a 12-second gap over the next car, which is Blair Grills and McLaren in P9.
I think the Ferraris do have a couple more penalties than Alistair as well, so he might still end up being promoted a few places. Camababo in 3rd place. He has stayed within DRS range here, just. He might be able to have a go on Owen if he's got enough overtake at the start of this lap. He's got more overtake than Owen. Can he maybe get there and get with it? No, I don't think. I think he is, as they say, just a bit too far back.
Yeah, the Racing Point driver, who has closed in quite significantly on Jack, who I believe at this point will probably just be coasting, just trying to keep it clean,
not get a penalty.
Yeah, he's got a gap, doesn't need to push. He's only got 2.5 laps left to go, so it's looking good for the Mercedes driver. Again, as things stand, don't want to put the commentator's curse on anybody, of course, but yeah, there's a battle for P2, but yeah, it's Jack on his own out in P1.
Camababo, he's still there with Owen, 7 tenths behind now, so he's actually closing back up again. And Owen's lost 2 tenths to Jack on this lap so far as well. So I wonder if Camababo can still see a 2nd place in the offering here. Does Camababo have a penalty? He does, so he will still get 3 seconds at the end of this race, although these top 3 now quite far ahead of the others. Is he going to go for it into 10-13? Camababo on Owen! No, he's not. It was very close though. Look at Chris in 4th place, by the way, with all the chaos that was caused with Dom and the Ferraris and Alistair. He's jumped them.
Oh, Camababo has spun at turn 15. He's knocked a significant part of his wing off. Should be, I mean, yeah, he'll lose too much if he pits.
Got to carry on, surely.
Yeah, but
yeah, well.
Wow, I mean, the front left heavily damaged. Chris picks up another penalty, which is not what he needs. But yeah, Camababo, he might lose 3rd place on the road, but I think with Chris's penalties, he will keep it. Yeah,
but it's really Dom, I suppose, got to worry about. I'm not sure if Dom has a penalty.
I believe
he does. How many? But so Camababo could still maybe keep a podium here. He certainly won't be getting 2nd place anymore. But wow. An unforced error there for Camababo, who had a terrible race in Singapore and Monza last week, and just when it was looking like he was going to pick up a nice hefty point sum, he's going to have to try and nurse that car to the finish.
Yeah, it's not what Camababo needed, although when it comes to track position it may not be too bad in the end, but Dom Smith is, as you say, the car that he needs to worry about the most. He'll be closing in rapidly on the McLaren driver, I believe. Yeah, Dom Smith has no wing damage. So, yeah, it's, well, can Chris clear Camababo quickly?
So at the moment then, it's looking like Jordan he's 1.5 seconds out on Blair Grills for 9th place. He will get 5 points. And Alistair in 8th will pick up 7. That is, of course, though, without knowing exactly how it's going to shake out with the penalties, but Alistair has dropped so far back now from Jose that there's a chance that really he will not make any positions up from the penalties. He's 7 seconds back now.
Yeah, I mean, with the tyre dag settling in and with the hardest. As
Chris leaves.
Chris disconnects.
Well,
he might still keep a top 8 here. It is the last lap.
Well, I mean, he's got a lot of penalties, though, to be fair, to be added on, hasn't he, at the end. But are we going to see Mike Newton now going for Dom Smith for 5th place on the road here? Let's see. Here we go. Oh, he's certainly just said a little hello, I'm here.
Yeah,
but he's going to not get through. And, well, he's just drove completely off the track there to gain speed around turn 3. Is he going to have a go into turn 4? Dom is obviously very low in energy, as you can see with the flashing light. But Dom just stays ahead. And, well, really, they haven't really closed up to Kamababo that much, have they, in the end?
No, Kamababo is doing very well. He must have a natural pace advantage because, I mean, that wing damage is not going to be helping him whatsoever. He might just keep third place at this rate.
I just wonder when Chris is going to rejoin here, because, of course, as soon as you elect to rejoin, you're immediately back in control of your car, but they both clear them and both got through. Anyway, meanwhile, at the front, Roy, this man is finally going to win a race this season.
Yeah, Jack Pearson, has to be said. An excellent drive from the Englishman. Coming towards the penultimate corner now. The Mercedes driver has had a pretty rough season, but he's put all the wrongs right today as he heads around the final corner to win the VTB Russian round of the TGP2 season, as Owen picks up the second place and the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. So an extra bonus point for him. Kamababo comes around the final corner to take P3 on the road. Mike Noon, who had got past Dom, did he cut the corner there? Finishes P4 as well. Actually, Dom takes it off. And Sayre Sports in P6. Chris finishes, well, we'll have to see what happens here. Alistair comes across the line.
Well, look at this. Jordan's closed in on Alistair so much here. I think they both got penalties, haven't they? So he won't gain a position, cross the line, and in fact, Blake Grills jumps back ahead of Jordan, so Jordan does go down back down into 10th, and Chris is also in between them both as well, so Alistair is 7th. I thought for a moment there it would have ended up finishing just one place within each other, but that is not how it has finished. What a fantastic race that was.
Yeah, very entertaining, as you frequently see at the Sochi Autodrome, the wonderful Black Sea resort town. Oh, well, you know, supposed to speak for yourself, you know, opinions are my own, but fair enough. We shall go through the results. Driver of the day, well, interesting avatar selection from Chris, representing North Korea. As we see Jack Pearson showing off his moves, if you can call them that, on the podium.
Wow.
James Allison on the podium, I believe. And, well...
Can't see Putin anywhere.
No,
he does not want to get the champagne sprayed on him.
Yeah, it must be health and safety reasons. Doesn't want to contract the coronavirus in these troubling times.
Indeed.
So, the race results, we have Jack Pearson winning from Mayor Quenby in second place with the fastest lap. Kamababo rounds out the podium and is a British top 6. Dom Smith in more than that, but Dom Smith in P4. Mike Noon rounds out the top 5 with Sayre Sports in P6, solid day for Ferrari. Alistair Bain, well, it could have been significantly worse, I suppose. He's in P7. We have Chris in P8, followed by Blair Grills in 9th. Jordan rounds out the top 10 after several disconnections, so I suppose again could have been significantly worse. Mr. John in P11, followed by Neljack. Zach in the points once again in P13. Angel vs Death scoring the final point of the race with Red Bull Kim 15th, Indecisive Mackie 16th, followed by Sir Tom Penguin, M Shep and Breezer in 19th, rounding out the field for the Renault team.
So that is the race then done here at Russia. I'm just trying to have a look at the standings, trying to work out the movers and shakers after that race. I'm not sure what you're laughing at, Roy.
I do apologise. Yeah, let's see. Well, the comments are popping off, has to be said. You know, a lot of people seem to be enjoying the racing that we've been seeing today. Fans of Sochi Autodrome, and of course Andy with his support for Red Bull Kim. Jean-Luc Taylor, our former co-commentator, alternate co-commentator, enjoying the action.
Indeed. Alright, just 8 points for Alistair for that 7th place then. And for Jordan in 10th, it will be just the 5 points. So, as we head into Japan then, which is coming up in just a few moments, I think the championship looks like this. Alistair does extend his lead to 285. And then we have Jordan on 245, so it's 40 points now. It was 37, it's now 40. Owen, though, of course, with that brilliant result, he is now on 243. So he has jumped right back into it. A couple of weeks ago, it looked like he was going to be left behind, but he's jumped right back into it now. Kamababo is then also on 233 after his third place in that race as well. That's what I believe it is at the minute. And Jack is on 202 after his first win of the season. So he's extended his lead, Alistair, but at the same time, Owen has closed in a bit, and Kamababo has closed in.
It's not over yet. Not over until the checkered flag falls at the wonderful Yas Marina circuit at the end of the season, unless, of course, the championship has been wrapped up before then, in which case, well, that statement is completely false. But anyway, we move on to Suzuka for the Japanese round of the TGP2 season. It's a very complex track, not a lot of runoff whatsoever, so mistakes will often be punished, and turn 3 is particularly treacherous. If you take too much inside curb, it can be pretty nasty.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's so difficult in this game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know certainly I struggle with it, and, you know, I'm normally I would consider Suzuka to be one of my stronger tracks, but on this particular game, it's, well, it's probably the opposite, really. It's probably one of my worst. So, yeah, should be in for a pretty interesting round.
We still also, and I'm going to keep mentioning it until we see it, we still haven't had any rain this season in TGP2 at all, in quali or the race. Just saying, you know, Japan is a place where it can rain, and it would certainly make things doubly difficult for, or difficult squared for the drivers, I suppose.
Yes, we love it when we square the difficulty, as we see the loading screen still for Japan. Some people still have yet to select their tyre allocation. Everyone should be loading into the session now, as we see some nice shots of 130R and the Dagners, with the Aramco sponsorship lining 130R.
Yes, we can all see that.
Iconic sponsor for an iconic corner, one could say. And here we are, session is underway. No cars on track, but the session has started.
And it is, well, it looks cloudy overhead, but no rain in this quali session at least. And who will be the first driver then to come out on track? I absolutely love this circuit, as I'm sure many people do.
Yeah, I have to say it is also a favourite of mine, up there with the likes of the Sochi Autodrome that we have just raced around.
Yes. And it's a very different circuit, isn't it, to the Sochi Autodrome?
Yeah, it's a lot more flowing, a lot more technical. It's a lot more about downforce as opposed to mechanical grip, so it should be.
It's not just 90-degree corners, are they?
Well, sometimes they're all you need. But here we go.
The Decisiv's the first guy out on track. And then Red Bull Kim just behind as well. Andy's favourite. Oh, look at the crowd. They're giving Red Bull Kim a huge round of applause, I can hear as well. So Red Bull Kim is obviously very popular around these parts. Maybe Andy's in the crowd.
Well, fans in Japan are some of the best in the world. They love their motorsport, and they love to line the grandstands of the Suzuka circuit when we come here, which unfortunately we could not do in real life in 2020. You know why. But
yes.
You know, these things happen. Well, not very often, I suppose, only once in our lifetime, but when they do happen, these types of situations do arise, unfortunately.
Indeed they do. Who then, are we going to get a full lap commentary from yourself, Roy?
We shall indeed, and I have heard that Jack Pearson does quite like this track and often does very well around here. I don't think he's ever actually won a race around here, but he has been, some could say, robbed on many occasions. Oh! Sorry,
Zach's spun it on his outlap.
Yeah, I saw the Red Bull dot on the map.
Yeah, but we'll let him off. He's not that familiar with this with the F1 game. As they're backing up ready for the lap times there, Alistair just sneaks through on Mike Noon as to start the lap. Where's Jack Pearson then to give us our commentary? There we go, he's just rounding.
On board.
Oh, that's that.
It's a nice exit. Into the now smoothened final corner he goes, full throttle. DRS open, the only DRS zone on the circuit, as he heads down to the very, very fast turn 1, which is actually flat out. You brake in between the first two corners usually. So here he goes. Can he hit the apex? Yes, he does, quite nicely. Now be careful through turn 3. You don't want to spin the car up. He misses the apex, maybe deliberately, just to not unsettle the car, just to get a banker lap in. Now the S's, it's all about rhythm through here. You don't want to go too quick through one corner, because you will go too slow through the next. As he goes through the Dunlop corner with a big snap of oversteer, he almost hits the Alfa Romeo of Sir Tom Penguin, which was stricken in the middle of the circuit. And Jack's invalidated the lap, and he's decided to get out of the way of the car behind, which is his teammate.
And goes off after second Egner then. The reason why I went oof a few seconds beforehand is because I was having a quick look around the field and I saw that crash with Sir Tom Penguin, and drivers having to suddenly take evasive action there. So Jack Pearson's invalidated then. Camo Babbo, as a Ferrari gets out the way for Camo Babbo as he goes past. Is he going to be one of the first drivers to set a lap now? I think he is. There's a Mercedes as well. Dom Smith is just a little bit further ahead, and Indecisive, of course, was the first guy out on track, as he's going to cross the line now. Let's see what the first lap time is going to be. He hasn't invalidated. It's a 1:32.2, and immediately Red Bull can beat that with a 1:30.9. There's a Renault coming round of Alistair, a 1:27.5. Look at that. That's a benchmark.
Very solid opening effort from Alistair Bain. Camababo rounds the final corner. What can he do? Dom Smith goes into P2. Just 1/10 behind for Camababo. So very solid opening for the McLaren driver, as Indecisive has retired from the session. It's the second car in the first 5 minutes to become a casualty at this circuit. It does punish the drivers, as we said. Not a lot of runoff, so if you make a mistake, chances are you will pay the price.
Jordan goes third on the medium tyres then, as of course we just see him going to mediums early on in the session, and Zach on his lap on the medium tyres has spun at 1:30 and invalidated, so that, assuming he will pit, he might decide to go again, but he will hopefully get a lap in a bit later. Say Sports goes into 5th.
I believe the only car on a lap right now is M-Shep. But he is on the medium tyre, so I wouldn't expect him to threaten anyone at the front. But I mean, at the moment, it looks like if you can get a clean lap in around here, you're doing fairly well. So yeah, everyone's kind of in sync with each other at the moment.
They are indeed, yeah. It's a great band, by the way. But Jordan making his way back as well, as Alistair also making his way back. So yeah, as you say, it's a pretty quiet moment in the session now, as they all just digest the first runs and they analyse how they think that all went for them. Yeah. And in a few moments they'll all be back out again.
Jordan will be hoping not to say bye to his championship hopes. So M-Shep coming round the final chicane now. Where can he go for the Alfa Romeo team, formerly known as Sauber? And he goes into P5. Solid effort.
Say, by the way, that was Jack Pearson's 18th win in TGP2, which now has him level with Aiden. Can he make it 19 before the end of the night?
Well, it is one of his stronger tracks, and it is one of Alistair's weakest. Of course, there are other contenders such as Jordan and Camilabo, and of course, I mean, Alistair is the guy who's on provisional pole, so I mean, it's not, weaker. One of his weaker tracks apparently, but still got some pace.
Got another Alfa off at Dunlop as well. Look, as Shepard now rejoins the circuit.
A very treacherous corner on this game, and we do have a comment from resident TGP statistician Jean-Luc Taylor, who believes that Dom is the only person in this field to have won at Suzuka in TGP1. So I believe he did that a few seasons ago in a race with mixed conditions. It was him who had the best strategy, and well, he took victory on that day.
Thank you very much for that, John. He's our virtual stat man, could say.
For that we are very appreciative.
Yeah, and Jordan's gone again on another lap on medium tyres here, and he said he went purple sector 1, sector 2. Let's see if he can get into first place for the time being of Alistair's soft tyre run of the 127.5. Here it goes around the final corner. As you say, it's a much easier corner to take on this game. And now he only improves by half a second, though, to 127.9.
And Jack Pearson coming around the final corner. We'll take two with our race winner from race one of the night. Yellow flags on the pit straight, might be cars getting out of the way, and here we go into turn 1 and 2. You want to? Well,
dear.
Bit of an anti-climax.
Oh, Jordan spun. Jordan on his. I'm presuming he's going back to the pit lane. Has lost it also at Dunlop, so causing a lot of trouble there, and he's got damage. He's not out the session, thankfully, for his sake. And he will get away with it, but that was quite a dramatic spin. I can't imagine he was going for the third lap on the mediums.
I don't think so. He gets out the way of the racing point. It's a very awkward section to be with wing damage in a qualifying session. I believe, he should have the space to get out of everyone's way now. He's got Ferrari behind him, as Chris still having internet issues.
So Alistair then. Oh, Alistair's gone very wide at the first S's, both the S's, and invalidated his next lap as well. They're really struggling.
Yeah, everyone's pushing, trying to find the limit.
But I think he made a bit of an error at the corner that we mentioned as well. The first part of the S's, he went out wide, and it just invalidated his lap, and he was lucky not to turn it into a full-blown spin.
Halfway through this qualifying session, only 10 cars have managed to actually set a lap at this point, with major contenders Jack Pearson, Mike Noon and Mayor Quenby not setting any lap time. Oh well, speaking of...
you say that. Mayor Quenby, there we go, as if by magic, pops up there with a 127.4. Zach's gone fifth on a 128.9 as he kindly gets a lap in. Well, Kamababa was also now on a lap. Let's see what he can do. We've got a yellow flag out, yellow flags out again, all over the place at the minute. Oh, that looked very nice through the first deck net. I think he almost dropped it, but he just got away with it. Amababo. And let's see what he can do then if he can get into, well, if he can improve. He only has to improve by 2/10, and he will be on pole for the moment.
Yeah, pretty tight between the top three. Jordan set his lap on the medium tyre, so he has a lot of time to find. He's looking pretty good for pole position at the moment if he can actually get a good lap time in on the soft. So of course the other drivers could still improve, but Jordan is looking pretty rapid right now. Let's see what Kamababa can do.
Sorry, it looked like Mike Noon was on a good lap, but then I think he invalidated and he just completely straight lined the final chicane. Kamababo, he's just gone purple sector 2. Here we go. I'm not sure. I don't think he'll be straight lining the final chicane as he goes through here. The Paseo Triangle chicane, as it's still called, although not so much these days. Here we go then. Across the line, inside of the circuit, 127.3. He now takes pole. We've got a 127.351, and then Quimby on a 127.450.
Wow, still very close. Still the same margin between the top three, although third has jumped to first.
Yeah.
Mayor Quimby and Alistair and Jordan all still in the pits. 7 minutes to go, so no panic. And Kamababa will still get back to the pits to do another run. As we see a Renault leaving the pits. Is that Alistair? It is indeed, and I believe his teammate is the one right behind him. So two Renaults leaving the pit lane in sync.
And Dom, who I think was on a lap, has also just invalidated as well then. Tell you what, this would be an interesting grid though, wouldn't it? Actually, you'd have fourth in the championship, then third, and then first, then second. Just do maybe swap third and fourth around. You have 4, 3, 2, 1, all off the start. Would be quite interesting to see.
Yeah, the grid is looking pretty spicy at the moment, but Jack will be looking to change that. You know what? Third time lucky. Perhaps might be a bit of a cautious lap from Jack, given his previous 2 attempts.
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, here we go. Yet again, round the final corner. DRS is open down the very long pit straight. Turn 1 is in qualifying. You want to pick your braking point between the first 2 corners and take an apex at turn 2. Missed the first one. And turn 3, make sure you don't step the car out. He takes it very nicely and runs a bit wide through turn 4, compromises turn 5. Now turn 6, it's off camber. You want to keep a tight line through here so you can maximise the speed you take through Dunlop as the rear end steps out quite a bit, and he's almost almost off, but it's still valid, so we're doing well. And into Degner 2, don't take too much exit curb, and yes, he's navigated that quite nicely now. In the hairpin, you want to take a bit of a late apex. There's several lines you can't take through here. It's nicely cambered, and he's run very deep. He will get a good slingshot out of the corner, but I think he has lost a bit of time doing that as he goes through the very long run now into Spoon, which has become an overtaking spot in recent times. Take as much speed as you can through the first part of Spoon, then through the second, keep it nice and tidy. Misses the apex quite a bit, and now he runs down into 130R, which these days is pretty easily flat out. Let's see what a second sector time is like into 8th gear. It's a purple middle sector apparently, so here we go now into the Casio triangle, into the chicane, and he's run very deep. This has been a messy lap, it has to be said. Should still get him up towards the front though. Take a tight line through the final corner, or maybe not, as he goes across the line into P5 with a 128.0, 7/10 off the quickest lap, actually 6.5 tenths off I should say.
And Jordan was only 2/10 up on the first sector on the soft tyres. This is his first lap on soft tyres, isn't it? Although we will probably prove further around the lap. Here's Alistair then, he was actually a tenth down. His first sector, Alistair's first sector was exactly the same as his fastest lap first sector, and his second sector now he's a tenth down. So let's see if he's going to make any improvement. No, he's abandoned the lap. He's decided to pit, and he will go again for one more run in a few minutes then. Let's see what Jordan can do towards the end of this lap. Here he goes, preparing to come through 130R. And he said he's gone payable, and now he's found in the town. He's 8 tenths up here, and if it stays like this, if he can get through this final chicane well enough, it looks like he will be jumping up to top spot here. Looks very nice, very tidy through there. Is he going to stay to the inside? There we go, cross the line, and there's pole by 3 tenths for Jordan.
Exactly 3 tenths, nice and neat, but of course still 3.5 minutes to go. Will Jordan get back in time? I think he might actually. Yeah, he might just have enough time to get another lap in if he's quick. I think doing 2 laps at the start and then obviously having that crash may not have been the best strategy when it comes to qualifying, but there might still be time as Chris disconnects from the session yet again, still yet to set a lap, as was the case in Sochi.
Has Chris had more penalties today or more disconnections?
That is a very good question, and one that I do not actually have the answer to. Maybe John else can fill us in.
At least he won driver of the day for Russia.
That is true. Proud day for North Korean motorsport.
Indeed. Mike Noon is on a lap at the minute. He's in 6th place. What's he got away with that? Did you see that? I thought that would be an invalidation, but in fact I don't think he's actually pushing. He's not pushing. He's not on the full deployment or anything. So I don't even think he'll be able to get back to the pits, get another lap in now. Mike Noon even.
I believe it might be strategical then, he might just be backing off, although he's still in 8th gear, so I mean the car behind might always...
Oh, there you go, he's doing that again.
Hurriedly getting into the pits to hope the Ferrari mechanics are ready for that kind of speed. So, interesting day at Ferrari, but we see Camo Babo on what will most likely be his final attempt in the session. Unless he's fueled for another run if he makes a mistake on this lap. I mean, he's got his banker lap in, he's currently on the front row, so he looked a bit wide through there. And let's see what his first sector time is like when he comes around the other side of the Dunlop corner.
He's gone off! Well. He's gone off at Dunlop, and that's it for the Camo Babo. And, well, he's going to have to get out the way of Zach, as that he was flying through there. Another driver off at Dunlop, and Camo Babo's qualifying is almost certainly over. Unless
he's got the fuel.
Yeah, but I mean the tyres. Well,
suboptimal you could say. But Jordan retires from the session, so no further improvements from the South Watford fan. So the AlphaTauri driver will just have to watch the timing screen and hope that he stays on the top spot.
Yeah, he will indeed. So it's like in Russia, the top 2. I'm not going to get a run in at the very end of the session when you would think the track would be at its best. Here's Alistair then. Mike Noon also then does retire after flying through the pits in 6th place there. Alistair, let's see if he can get a clean lap in then for his final run, and if he can actually improve. He didn't improve last time round, remember. As he goes through the SSC, can he get it through Dunlop? Okay, here we go. Yes, it looks good. So far, so good for Alistair. The first sector, it's exact same again. 31.595. That's the third time in a row.
Is that a timing glitch, or is that genuine? Who knows? Very Jerez 1997, one could say, as the Renault driver is looking to improve. Yellow flags out in somehow 2 sectors of the track.
Yeah.
For one stricken car.
Yeah, Jack went straight on at turn 1, and I don't know if it might have put Owen off as he starting as a lap, but it certainly would have put me off. But here's Alistair then coming through Spoon. He's the guy who will be the first to cross the line, I think, out of the big guys at the minute to finish this session off. Zach has gone a bit wide on his final run as well, although it'd be amazing if he was to even just start 6th. Alistair is purple in sector 2, and he was only just up on his lap.
Here we go now through the final corner. You can take a tight line through the final corner in qualifying just to scrub off a bit of time, which he does indeed do, and he only goes up to P3.
And he only goes to yeah, and Owen has abandoned the lap. He's invalidated the lap, in fact. So Owen will be 4th. Jack Pearson, then it's all down to Jack Pearson now. Can he take a pole position here? Another one. Let's see. Exeter Spoon, here we go, flat out. He can sometimes go to the inside of the track and gain a bit of time through there, but let's see what his second sector split will look like. It's 4 tenths up. Is he going to challenge for pole at the very end here? Can he nail this final chicane? Remember, he got it a bit dodgy last time round. This looks a lot smoother. Here we go, ends the lap, stay to the inside, Jack. Let's see if he can get pole. He goes to the outside, and it's second. It's a 10th off Jordan, who will take pole.
I think Alistair will be disappointed with the P4 start. I know it's, you know, amazing to say. A lot of drivers would be delighted with a P4 start, but yeah, I think that's a testament to how well he's been qualifying this season. But yeah, no front row start for Alistair, the championship leader tonight. But hey, still a solid effort, still right up there, still should contend for victory and, well, at least the podium. So yeah.
Chris got a lap in. Despite all the disconnections, somehow he got a lap in at the very end of the session there, and it's gone 11th.
Which,
so
you know,
free tyre choice as well.
Yeah, so he'll be hoping to make the most of that. He's got some pace in there, just needs to string it all together. I mean, Suzuka, when you've only got 1 lap around here, I mean, on this game in particular, is particularly difficult. I'd even say the most challenging on the calendar. But yeah.
I think it's probably got to be the most dramatic qualifying session of the season. Plenty of instant there, but this is the grid then. Jordan is on pole around here at Suzuka. He got the lap in and he did not disconnect crucially. Jack Pearson in 2nd place. Camo Babo will start 3rd. Alistair down in 4th. Owen will be 5th. Zach in an absolutely brilliant 6th place. Mike Green will be 7th. Shepard is also putting a brilliant lap for 8th as well. Dom in 9th. Joe Sale will start 10th. Chris got the 1 lap in 11th. Angel Vessel Death 12th. Nell Jack 13th. Mr. John 14th. Red Bull Kim 15th. Breeze 16th. Indecisive 17th. And Sir Tom Penguin, who we saw crash early on in the session, has not recorded the time. So this is quite a grid for this race, isn't it?
Yeah, should be in for some entertainment yet again. I mean, we've already had an excellent race at Russia, so I mean, Japan should deliver something in equally good measure.
Oof.
Change of conditions.
Well, it's not raining, but it certainly looks like it could do at any minute.
I've yet to hear any weather reports from from any of the drivers.
Yeah, we haven't heard any information. So, if there was rain, we would potentially hear about it. But it could just be a very, very, very overcast day in Suzuka, and we might just escape the rain here again in TGP2.
Yeah, I mean, some drivers will be looking for rain. Others, well, I think they'll be pretty happy for it to stay dry.
Yeah, so we're about to get underway then, and it should indeed be dry all the way. We're just here, and here we go then. 5 lights come on for this big race at Suzuka. We're underway. Is Jack Pearson going to get a traditionally good start? I think he is. Can he get into the lead ahead of Jordan into turn 1? It's going to be very close. Zach gets away quite well as well. Camababo touched him slightly into turn 1 as Alistair gets through. It's in 4th place. Mike Noon round the outer inside on Jordan. On Owen even, sorry. For 5th place, Mike Noon is in 5th. And really, in the end, he hasn't been a dramatic change of order too much. Neljac's had a spin and fell to the back. But apart from that, a fairly clean start, you'd have to say, for all the drivers. Can they all make it through Dunlop, though? Alistair's right on the back of Camo Babo for 3rd place here. I think Angel vs. Death has spun. But no, it can't get through Alistair. So Jordan, Jack, Camo Babo, Alistair, top 4.
Yeah, Alistair pressuring Camo Babo right at the very start, not electing to go up the inside at the hairpin. It's Jordan who leads by 0.8 of a second over Jack, so Jack's still within DRS range, and he'll get a nice toe down into the spoon corner.
Such a good start by Owen. Mike Noon even once again, as usual, as Owen there gets paired though into 5th place, and the top 5 are now back as they qualified.
And actually I think Mike Noon has picked up wing damage on that first lap. Indeed he has. The front right is missing an end plate on the very edge as we see Dom and Zach going side by side through 130R. Dom gets the inside line and he gets the position. Zach stood in the top 8, so it's not all too bad.
Brilliant move by Dom.
I think Mike will have to pit because, I mean, it's lap 1 of the race on a downforce dependent circuit, and he comes in. So it'll have to be another recovery drive from Mike Noon. He had an incident in Russia and then he's picked up another in Suzuka.
So he got a really good start, Mike Noon, didn't he? Again, as he seems to do so. But he must have had a bit of contact with somebody. We saw Camo Babo. It looked like he just nudged into Jack as well at the start, but nothing for him. As did they both just get penalties for speeding in the pit lane?
Neljak did. I think Mike Noon has aided any penalisation.
Okay then, so the top 13 then are all on soft tyres then. Indecisive, in fact, just gone into 12th because I think Red Bull Kim might have made an error. Breezer now also makes an error. Indecisive in 12th, medium tyres, the highest placed medium runner then. All these guys are on softs, and well, it's a very difficult place to overtake Suzuka. Jordan, if he can win this race with Alistair in 4th, it will be very helpful for him.
Sir Tom Penguin, the driver, making the most gains, up 7 places, started P18, now up to 11th, so very solid start. As you see once again the F1 Insights powered by AWS showing us the predicted pit strategy. Thank you very much Amazon for the information. Alistair has dropped back a bit now from Camo Babo as Mayor Quenby is now all over the back of the young Scotsman. Can he go up the inside at the chicane? No, he can't, bides his time. He'll try to do it down into turn 1.
We've just seen the huge improvement that Owen made in a previous race in Russia in his championship hopes. And is he going to go through? And Alistair now for 4th place into turn 1. This is going to be side by side, and he's got the position. Owen into 4th, Alistair into 5th. And well, you said that he struggles with these races towards the back end of the season, and it's certainly looking like that after tonight.
Yeah, I've heard, in practice sessions, Alistair has been a bit ragged, a few incidents, few spins and crashes here and there, but, so far, still on the road, still in the top 5, still a solid effort, so, I don't think he'll be too disappointed, but, of course, I think he'll be looking for a podium at the very least in this race, as the gap at the front, still same, really, it's still around that 8, 9, 10th margin, as Camo Babo is now right on the back of Jack.
Say Tom Penguin, who made a good start, just made a bit of an error, but he's actually not really lost that many positions because of that. I think he only lost 1 position, but there's now a 6-second gap between him and then Mr. John 2nd place. Ooh, Jack looked very wild through there, but he's got away with it. Camo Babo though will close in a bit further, and they will now have DRS, of course, to deploy just the 1 DRS zone around here because it is such, well, really, there's nowhere else you could really put a second one. Jack very wide, the 130R. Could Camo Babo go for the move already?
Bides his time, but Camo Babo, in terms of energy deployment, is about twice as much as Jack. And he's also got the DRS on the Englishman. Well, they're both English. But, yeah, I think Jack also still has the DRS, though, on Jordan. Or maybe not. No, he doesn't, as Camo Babo goes down the inside up into 2nd place.
Second for Camo Babo. Great move for Camo Babo. Seiya Sports has just picked up a bit of damage at the final chicane and has pitted. Then at this point, I'm not sure. I think he might have had a bit of a collision with Zach. Zach had just got past him. Might have been Shepard, I suppose. But anyway, whatever. Seiya Sports is in the pit lane, and his race now is effectively over, unless of course we get a safety car.
Messy start for the Ferrari team, both of them in the pits in the first 3 laps. But both drivers have decent pace, so will hopefully end up in the top 10 by the end of the race.
So I wonder if Alistair then, will he do a bit like what he tried to do in Russia? And will he fancy making a bit of an early stop? It didn't really work for him in the end, did it? Much when he made that contact. But perhaps around here he might be thinking he can get away with it. We'll see. Breezer is at the back of the pack. He's a minute off somehow already. Meanwhile at the front it's a second now between Kamababa and Jordan. So can Kamababa close in? Can he just snatch the DRS at the end of this lap? I think he will. And begin to put Jordan under some real pressure here. Look how late on the brakes Kamababa is around here. He's, well, wasn't really showing this kind of pace to qualifying, but he certainly is now.
Yeah, he's got the DRS wide open on the back of that McLaren. He's just over a second back. He didn't get a great exit from the chicane after going deep in the first part. But Kamababa is looking racy, and he's also looking pretty quick. The top 3 within a second of each other. Merquembe a second back from Jack, and Alistair a second back from Merquembe. So the top 5 still all in it. Still a lot to play for. Only lap 5 of 13 in this race. Still have a pit stop, so who knows, all could change. So the mediums could favour another driver.
So there is a great possibility here that 15 Jordan can gain 15 points here, can't he, on Alistair? If results stay like this, heading into there'll just be 4 rounds to go after this race tonight in the United States, Mexico, Brazil, and then of course, obviously Abu Dhabi. And Alistair, I tell you what, if he does not finish highly up here, he will be putting in, I suspect, a lot of practice for United States and Mexico for next weekend. Next week even.
Indeed, yeah, he's at a comfortable margin, and well, hopefully he won't need all of it. He'll be hoping to keep the consistency and the momentum going into the final part of the season, but tonight hasn't really been his night so far. I was just looking back through the field. I saw M-Chef getting past Zach, and I believe Zach does have wing damage, so his stop will be elongated, although who knows, at the moment is still right behind M-Chef, who have a nice low drag car on the straights. Nearly hit the back of M-Chef, but all good so far. Does he dive into the pits? Yes, he does, as does M-Chef. So both drivers dive into the pits, as do Merquembe and Dom Smith.
Yeah. Merquembe, the first championship contender to pit then. We'll see where he slots back out. He will not want to be within any traffic, and I think he should just get away with it. He might close up to Tom Penguin eventually, but I think he'll be pretty satisfied with that, and he can run in some clean air for the time being. These guys at the front though, of course, for the time being, that does promote Alistair up into 4th, but he will be coming in a few laps time as well. It's still that second gap, quite consistent between the top 3, really.
Yeah, it's stalemate at the moment. I think, after the pit stops, hopefully we'll be seeing a bit more action, because right now everyone just seems a bit evenly paced. So hopefully we'll be seeing drivers get a bit racy towards the end of the race. Energy deployment could come into it, although it has to be said the top 2 drivers, in terms of the top 4, are looking the best. So Jordan is using overtake to break the DRS down into 1:30R. It's smart driving from Jordan. Kamababa now 1.1 seconds back, so he has indeed broken that DRS.
And is Jordan going to come in? No, he's not. Is Kamababa going to come in? Yes, he is. So is Kamababa going to try and go for the undercut on Jordan then? Jack Pearson also follows them behind. Jack Pearson, look at that, straight away, first pit box. Alistair also coming in. So Owen is going to be the man to watch it, and Zach is out of safety car! We have a safety car, and well, let's see where the safety car picks up the leader. Jordan's gone past it. Jordan is past the safety car, so he will be able to pit. Well, where's Owen going to come out in all of this? Kamababa and all that going to just stay ahead? I think they will.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's a disaster for Owen. Can Alistair jump? Owen, yes, he can.
Well, I mean, if there was no safety car there, I'm pretty sure Owen had the pace to jump. Well, Alistair's jumped him, of course, because Alistair was behind him at first, but I think Owen could have possibly got past Jack and Kamababa there,
Yeah, Owen looked very quick, and, well, in the end he's lost 1 position, but he probably should have gained about 2. So
Alistair will be thanking his lucky stars to that one then. Owen will be raging in that cockpit right now, and Jordan is ahead of the safety car, so he can now pit, and will probably come out in the lead, almost certainly, would you say?
Yeah, because the safety car came out when the other guys were in the middle of their stops, so Jordan will actually gain. I mean, not that it's going to matter, of course, because they're behind the safety car, but yeah, Jordan will comfortably come out in first place should he elect to pit on this lap, which, I mean, of course, you know, makes sense. You know, it would be ridiculous to stay out. Does he pit? Yes, he does.
There we go. He comes in. Imagine if that happens 10 seconds. He's got a penalty! He's sped in the pit lane! I can't believe this. Alistair, again, I don't know how many times I've said this in commentary, but again, once again, another driver, a rival of his, has made an unforced error here, and it's going to have a 5-second penalty at the end of this race now.
Wow. Behind the safety car, there was no need to push on the entry to the pit lane. You were going to keep the lead anyway. And wow, it's disappointing, and I don't think there's any other word that is more fitting right now. It's yeah, Jordan will be kicking himself for that.
It's absolutely remarkable. Camo Babo then, at the minute, looks like he can win this race. He doesn't have a penalty. Jack Pearson also doesn't have a penalty. Alistair doesn't even have a warning at this stage. Owen, though, Owen seemingly is the quicker driver in terms of Alistair and Owen on the road here. So you would imagine Owen will want to go for this at the restart and will be pretty determined to get through. He will be so frustrated, but Alistair there, he's just managed to jump Owen because of the safety car, and then Jordan got a penalty. So it's Alistair will be laughing.
Jordan will realistically need Camo Babo to get a penalty plus pull out a 2-second gap if he's going to keep this race victory that he was looking good for. It has to be said, he'd one hand on the winner's trophy, but he's kind of, well, thrown that all up in the air now, so it's almost like fate will have to decide his race result at this point.
Jordan will probably be hoping the safety car goes in this lap then, so he can at least try and pull some sort of a gap, give him an extra lap to do so. I don't think it is though. I don't think we're still waiting for quite a bit of the field to catch up. I think it will stay out one more lap.
Yeah, usually
wait 4-lap sprint finish.
Which is not what Jordan needs. Jordan was unable to get much more than a second ahead of his rivals prior to the pit stop, so I mean, you know, he needs to pull out 5 seconds in half as many laps. So yeah, it's not looking good for the AlphaTauri driver.
So yeah, safety car will stay out then for one more lap. Let's give a shout out to Shepherd there in 7th place, and Mr. John as well. I think he's actually benefited quite a bit from that. And Owen has been given a penalty for a collision with Breezer. Well, I have a feeling that would be. In fact, I'm absolutely positive that will be removed. Would you say? Did you see that, Roy?
I didn't see that. No. Yeah, I was slightly confused for a moment there. I was like, how did Breezer get involved in all this? But
he's there. He's the lap down. Yeah, and Breezer is getting right on the edge there. But I'm pretty sure Owen's going to have that removed, isn't he? Surely.
Yeah, unless there was something bizarre, he should get that removed.
Shepard's just gone off. Shepherd went off the track, and now Mr. John gets a penalty. What's going on? Come on.
I think, did someone accidentally overtake someone else? I think this is an issue with the game.
Yeah, that's true. We might be getting that glitch again.
Severe collision.
Gave Mr. John a penalty now as well. Well, this really needs to be fixed.
Although these are penalties for collisions as opposed to overtakes, so
that's a good point. That is a good point. But we just seen Shepherd just went off into turn 3 on the outside, but it almost looked like he done it himself, but maybe he didn't. And I don't know what's going on because Breezer's nowhere near him. So I really don't understand what's going on here. But the penalty will be removed. I can be sure of that.
I think Breezer is 10 seconds behind.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But Breezer was when I looked at it anyway. Breezer was way back. So there will almost certainly be. And Saya Sports has gone off now as well under safety car.
How Does he have damage? No, he doesn't. Did he rejoin? I don't think he did.
He's left the session.
May have been a disconnection. We did see him have an incident in Paul Ricard earlier this season where he rejoined the session and actually gave him control of another driver's car but kept him in the view of his own car, so that explained that. And Amshep's got another penalty. I think there's going to be a lot to be decided in the steward's room post-race.
But I think I can say for sure that Owen will most likely, almost certainly get those 2 penalties removed at the end of this race. Here we go then, we're getting ready for a restart then, and well, the safety car is just there, and Jordan is going to have to really back off here. This could cause a bit of carnage as well, but we get going again. Cameron Papa is going to be right on the back of him. And it's just been disqualified. Wow. Well, that's going to be controversial to review after the race, and Jeff will be fuming about that. And I have a feeling that might be co-masters related, I have to say. I'm sad to say, but I have a feeling it might be. The restart's underway, Roy.
Yeah, I have to say, the penalties in this safety car have been, all over the place, and extortion, as we said, as a racing point goes off in the background. That is Nailjack once again going off in the first sector as the race properly commences once again. And it's looking, I say it's looking good for Jordan, but he does of course have that 5-second penalty, but he leads now into the hairpin with Kamababo right on his tail. I wonder if Kamababo knows about the penalty, because if he does, then he can just feel free to sit behind. Of course Jeff will give him the information if prompted. So top 5 still looking relatively close in terms of pace. Let's see what happens towards the end.
Mike Noon went for a move on Sir Tom Penguin, and it looked like he got it done, but then on the exit he got on the power a bit too early, and it's really lost him a huge amount of time. And in fact, it's going to put the 2 Williams right behind him now, ganging up on him into Spoon. But Owen was also very close to Alistair as well on that at the hairpin, but it is as you were for the time being.
Merrick Wemby still right on the back of Alistair. Will he make a move into the chicane? No, he doesn't. Will he do it into turn 1 like he did last time? Merrick Wemby looking like he's got a lot of race pace, but once again I think his qualifying has let him down as Jordan sets the fastest lap of the race. With
Here we go.
Behind.
Is he going to go for it again? Merrick Wemby into 4th place. He's got Alistair again. It's deja vu. Turn 1 once again. Owen gets into 4th place. He does have those penalties, but as I say, I'm fairly certain they will be removed at the end of this race. Alistair is back into 5th, and Dom, what can Dom do? Can Dom close in 2 seconds behind Alistair now? 7 tenths separate the top 2. 8 tenths.
I think Owen is... I would agree that those penalties will get removed for Owen. So I think right now he's actually looking at a net P3. But I think he might be looking for a little bit more than that if he can get up to the back of Jack Pearson. But of course Suzuka, not the worst track for overtakes, but it certainly isn't the best.
Jack Pearson was incredibly late on the brakes there in the hairpin. I think he nearly touched the back of Kamababo there, but he is 6 tenths. He's closer than Kamababo than what Kamababo is to Jordan at the minute. And this is essentially the battle for the lead now, you would say, unless Jordan can absolutely pull in the next best few laps of his life to somehow gain 5 seconds. I can't see that happening.
No, you'd need 2 seconds a lap or something like that, or 1.5, and Ricky Breeze are getting a penalty.
Mike Noon's trying it again, Sir Tom Penguin. He tried it a moment ago and lost it slightly, but through 130R he gets it done. At the front then, DRS is enabled, but it won't get to use it until the end of the next lap. Alistair 7 tenths back, and he can't go for a move on Owen. No way, and Owen is in fact closing in on Jack Pearson for 3rd, or 2nd as it would be.
I believe Kamababo and Jack are penalty free.
I'm pretty sure they are, yeah.
Yeah, so it's... Well, I think at the moment Jordan will drop to 5th.
But
I'm correct.
It is worth mentioning that they've had 2 warnings, both Kamababo and Jack Pearson, so they are on the edge.
So Kamababo, I think, with the most to lose right now, he just needs to keep within 5 seconds of Jordan. And even if he gets an extra penalty, he's still within the 2 seconds, so it's looking good for Kamababo right now to take another podium, a double podium, but this time on the top step.
Well, I think despite the fact that Jordan's had the penalty and certain crazy things have happened tonight, it has certainly closed the championship up, and it is going to set us up very nicely indeed for next week for United States of Mexico and then Brazil and Abu Dhabi. It is really two very eventful races tonight, and there's going to be a lot of chatter afterwards, no doubt. So make sure you keep up to date with everything on the TGPSeries Twitter account, as Jordan is about to come through to start the final lap. He's got a 2.1 second lead, not enough.
No, not enough. He needs to find 3 seconds. Realistically, it's going to take a penalty or a mistake. But even then, Jack will also have to do the exact same, because he's also within 5 seconds, as is Merrick Quenby. I think he might just be 5 seconds clear of Alistair, so I think he'll be knocked off the podium, but he'll keep a top 4 place. As Merrick Quenby, I think, is trying to take alternate lines through the S's, or else he just went a bit deep through there. But I think he's desperately trying to get past Jack and take what would be in P2.
They are really close together, aren't they? Matchup leads, I have to say, I really do feel sorry for Matchup, but after what happened there, we'll try and find out. Carbo's got a penalty! Carbo's got a penalty, and Jack Pearson is on course to win both races tonight, amazingly.
And Mike Noon has crashed at Dunlop, so that takes him out of the top 8. Well, Sir Tom Penguin running an excellent P8, with Indecisive Mackie in 9th and Angel vs Death in P10, so great drives from them. Red Bull Kim in P11 as well. Wow, I think Jack Pearson might be on for a second win of the night.
I think he will be. Well then, let's see then. It's coming towards the end of this final lap. Is Jack Pearson even going to maybe go for a move on Camavabo? Is he aware of Camavabo's penalty? Because look, they're right on each other here. And is Jack Pearson going to go for it? He doesn't need to, but it gets very close. And, well, Jordan will cross the line.
No!
And Jack Pearson's got a penalty at the very end! And somehow, well, Owen is going to win this race. He will get a load of penalties. But, well, you know what? Words fail me. That is just absolutely bizarre.
Wow.
Mr. John is in 7th place. And Alistair, it says, is 2nd on the road. But right, we need to go through this. Owen's surely won the race. Yeah.
From Jordan and then Alistair.
From Jordan and Alistair, would you say? Yeah.
So I think the order is correct, except just put Owen in P1, and then the rest is correct.
Okay. So Jordan pulled away a lot on the final lap then, didn't he, while they were all battling?
Yeah, and it's worked a treat for him. I think he's managed to keep P2. He's still outscored Alistair. I think it's Owen who wins the race.
I cannot believe that. That is absolutely amazing, isn't it? Wow.
I think Camavabo was disconnected. His car did lag, so just in the nick of time. Indecisive Mackie, driver of the day, in P7, I believe. So, I mean, to be honest, yeah, very solid effort from the Williams driver, but I will be honest, I don't think it's the main focus right now.
Well, there's Jordan on the top 7 of the podium.
Listing the trophy that he'll have to hand back later on.
It's all gone. Brazil 2003. The race winner, Owen. Just give the win to Owen, okay? Because I'm pretty sure you get the penalties removed.
Unless, yeah, yeah, surely. Well, I suppose let's run through the results as we think they are.
Okay, you run through them and I'll try to work on the championship. So I'll try my best.
We think that Merrick Quenby has won this race, from Jordan with the fastest lap in 2nd, Alistair in P3, Camavabo 4th, Jack Pearson rounding out the top 5 with Dom Smith just behind in P6. Indecisive Mackie an excellent P7 for Williams, followed by Mr. John the AlphaTauri in P8. Now Jack in 9th, despite having 2 offs in this race. Red Bull Kim completes the top 10. Angel vs Death in P11 with Sir Tom Penguin just behind in P12. Our North Korean representative Chris finishes in P13, still in the points. Sayer Sports also finishes in the points. Mike Newman, an absolute disaster, in P15. And I will be on side with the rest.
So, the championship at the end of tonight, this is very, very, very unofficial. but it says that Alistair is on 300 points after that third place that he eventually got. Owen is on 268. So Owen is in second place in the championship after tonight. Jordan is on 264. Camo Babo is on 245, and Jack is on 212. Now, like I said, that possibly may change in an hour or so time when the results get posted and the Drivers' Championship gets posted on the TGPSeries Twitter accounts, because, well, do you think that may change? I think it might.
I think it will, yeah. It said Owen had 3 penalties. All 3 were behind the safety car, I believe.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
He should take that win back. Of course, if anything does change, and just to verify our claims, do of course check out at TGPSeries on Twitter to find out all the latest information. And yeah, we think we've got the result right, but of course we'll have to see what happens. And we still going through the standings, Dan?
No, it's the top 5 that I've got there.
Okay.
Like I said, whether it'll change, don't know. But I can't believe Jack Pearson has just thrown away a win at the final corner. Effectively, it's just unbelievable. But well, what a night it's been.
Yeah, some excellent racing tonight in TGP2. Some controversial moments, has to be said, and also some great battles out on track today. It's been a very eventful evening, and I hope you will join us next week for hopefully more of the same in season 26 of the TGP2 series. And I bid you farewell, and hopefully we'll see you next week.